That felt good. What's up? What is up, my peeps? I am back with another video and we are upgrading. Your girl got a microphone now. Who the fuck are we? We are out here living our best lives. But anywho, what is up, peeps? It is your girl Ashley Mateo, also known as ClaimYourMagic.co, back with another video. I don't know. I think I'm really tired right now, so like my energy is really fucking weird. So let's see how this video goes, okay? So by popular request, or rather I did a poll last week on what videos y'all wanted me to do next, and the first video, or like the one that got the most votes, was actually going through my tarot and oracle card collection. So for those of you who don't know, or are new to my channel because you guys follow for like the travel vlogs in Taiwan, I am super into the woo-woo spiritual things. Like earlier, I think at the end of last year, I did a walkthrough on like an astrological planner I have. But anywho, I love doing these woo-woo things. Oracle and tarot cards are part of my daily practice, or almost daily practice, of personal guidance, and something that I use with my clients. I just find it to be really, really fun, and a way to tap into my intuition more. And so, yeah, I just love them. I have had a collection, and over the years, I have, bought new ones. I have given away certain ones that don't resonate with me anymore. So this video is just showing you the ones that I currently have in my collection as of July 2021. But at the end, I'm going to share with you some of the decks that I actually no longer have, but have been a part of my journey. So stay tuned. I will also link all of the cards, or like the decks, down below so that you can check them out if that's something that interests you. And so yeah, let's just dive in. The way that I'm going to be doing this is sharing these in the order that I got them. And so to start, this is the first oracle card deck that I ever received, which is the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell. This one has served me so well. I think this was actually the second deck I ever got in my life. And honestly, it was so, I don't know, it just like really helped me so much. I brought this with me when I was actually in Taiwan. I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like it gives you really good, clear answers. And that's part of why I actually started with oracle card decks before I got tarot decks. Because literally the way that this deck worked is like, there's different suits. I mean, that's how suits, all of them have some sort of suit, but this one was like, there was a confirmation suit, there were inquiry suits, action cards, activation cards, transmissions, and whatnot. So I really, really loved this deck because it gave you very straightforward answers, and it wasn't super woo-woo. So when I first got this deck, this was when I was first starting to learn about the law of attraction. So I feel like this is a very good beginner deck, in my opinion, because literally it gives you yes, no, maybe, and just like a whole mix of things. And you start to kind of learn about like more woo-woo things, like, the transmission cards talk about like the Akashic records, Lemurium and Tonkins, Pleiades. Like, if you don't know anything about that, don't worry about it. But I definitely feel like it gave me kind of like a little step into the world of the woo-woo, into the world of like spirituality, new age spirituality in the very least. But yeah, this one was one of my first and favorite decks of all time. And I think the next deck that I bought, believe, was the Starseed deck. Yeah, sorry, I'm like looking because I'm thinking about the ones that I no longer have as well. The Starseed deck is also another one that is by Rebecca Campbell. Like, you can just tell she's great. Her, as well as Danielle Noel, who is the artist who created like the visuals for the decks. I love them. Like, this one is different in a sense that it doesn't give you the different suits the way that the Work Your Light deck did, but it definitely feels more woo-woo, more in the realms of like spirituality than the other one did, and I love it. It's honestly such a beautiful deck. You're gonna see it on the screen here, but like the deck is so beautiful. Like everything is so dreamy, so feminine. Like look at that, it's so beautiful, and it's very cosmic, like a lot of karmic related things, like earth, like I don't know how stars, just so many different like themes, and it just feels so, I don't know, it's dreamy, it's beautiful, and I just really enjoy it. So that was like the second one. This came out a couple years after the Work Your Light deck came out, but I was so excited to get it when it came out. And it's interesting because the deck, or the case, it has this triangular shape, and if you take a look into the guidebook that it comes with, it gives you different like prompts. I don't want to say it's prompts. It's like how do I explain this? Ways in which you can like do your readings for yourself or for other people if you do that. But it's cool because you can use this box as like, if you do 2-card spreads, 3-card spreads, they're used, or 5-card, interesting, and I think 6-card spreads. Yeah, sorry, I'm like, I don't really use it for that purpose, but they have really great ways in which that you can use these decks, and how like this plays into it. It's really cute. It's really innovative in my opinion, because I feel like most of the time the boxes are never really used for the readings. It's usually just to hold them in their place. So that was the second deck that I got. I think the third deck that I got after that was actually dipping into the realm of tarot. And so for a while, I only wanted to use like oracle cards because they gave you a straight answer. Like you just read the guidebook and it gives you, what the card means, and like if you do any sort of inquiries, like anything to journal on, or certain like intentional prayers, something like that, it's very specific and it's very clear in the reading or in the guidebook. However, in tarot, I feel like there's more interpretation that can be done. And so when I bought the deck that I have here, which is the Modern Witch Tarot deck, this is the first tarot card deck that I got. I wanted to make sure that I was getting a deck that had a guidebook in it, because I think tarot cards are amazing. Like I follow a lot of YouTubers that do tarot card readings, and one of the things that I felt like I didn't want to jump into tarot is because it has so many interpretations for each card, depending on, the person who interprets it, as well as like, whether it's about life, your overall life, if it's about career, finances, about relationships, about, health, whatever it is. There's different categories, and they can they can mean different things, as well as if you have it in reverse, the card would mean something different. So for me, I wanted to really like slow my roll when I was getting my decks. So the Modern Witch Tarot comes with a deck, or a guidebook rather, for the deck. However, I will say it doesn't include reverse meanings, but it's a really, really beautiful guidebook. I love it because of I don't know, like the branding for this is just really well done. But yeah, like the cards have their meaning here. However, it's just really short as well, especially for like when it comes to like the numbered cards. So like, the 10 of Wands or the 2 of Cups, it doesn't really give you, it gives you like a paragraph on like what it means. But then after that, it's just, it doesn't really give you that much, and it doesn't give you the reverse meanings. So a lot of times I would find myself having to Google it, which is why I ended up getting this next thing, which is not actually a deck, but it's actually a book. So I really started to get really interested in learning about how do I read tarot for myself. I didn't feel like the guidebook was enough, and so I ended up buying this book. I bought the Ultimate Guide to Tarot Card Meanings, which is by Bridget Esselmont, also known as Biddy Tarot. And I really like this book a lot. It gives you a lot of information. I definitely recommend it for people who are new to tarot, because it gives you the meanings to each. I bookmarked it. That's how like you can see my like little flappy faded out bookmarks, but it gives you the meaning for each of the cards, a very in-depth like description, and like what they can mean for different variations, like whether it's specific to overall life, or like specific to like your career path or your money, or stuff like that, and like giving you reverse meanings. So it's really, really good. I find it to be really beneficial for me because it gives me like really good insight for myself, things to like really think about, as well as like I use it to help my clients as well, and I think it's been really beneficial. So that's the third deck that I got. The next deck, I believe, is the Rumi Oracle card deck. And so this is what it looks like. I actually got this as a gift from Vinny. So for one Christmas, he asked me like, what did I want? And so I decided, I was like, oh, I really want this deck. Like, I've been wanting a deck for a while, but like I just didn't want to like spend another like 20 something dollars. So I was like, okay, how about you get me this? And so this is a deck I actually use probably the least, surprisingly. The reason why is because if you it's really beautiful when you have the time and space to really like sink into it. I will say that, because a lot of the times the oracle card description is really, really long, and so it takes a little bit of time to sink into. So like when it comes to the other oracle card decks that I have, usually it's a very short, like 2-pager, I think, and the pages are very small. But this is a book. This is a booklet. This is the thick one, and the font is relatively small, so like it does take up a bit of time to get through, and usually includes a poem by Rumi, which makes sense because it's called the Rumi deck. But it uses a poem from Rumi, and then it goes into really beautiful like literature. I think this is beautiful if you, like I said, if you have the time and space to really sit with it, have a little ceremony for yourself. And so I usually don't use this heavily compared to the other decks that I have. But when I do use it, it's like, ooh, I need that. I needed that one today, sis. Woo, thank you. So that was the next deck that I got. The fifth deck that I got is the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. And this was actually another gift as well from one of my best friends from school. Shout out to you, Amber, for like getting me this deck, because she's not into this type of stuff, but she actually asked my boyfriend like, hey, do you know which deck she has? And he's like, actually, she has a video on all her her decks that she has. So I'm going to link it down below about my collection from last year. So a couple things are no longer there. So she was like, okay, cool. And so it really helped her in deciding which deck to get me. And so she picked this one, which I actually is one of the decks I use the most, because I don't know, I'm really drawn to it. I like the artwork, as well as the guidebook is very straight to the point, and it includes the upright meaning and the reversed meaning, which is something that was really huge. So sometimes if I don't want to pull out the full-on like tarot book that I have, I like using the guidebook here, because it's pretty informative and it gets you really good insight pretty quickly without having to like dive too deep in. However, if I like want to get to more in-depth reading, then I'll go to the book. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. I use this a lot with my clients, and it's usually pretty spot on, which I love. So yeah, that's the deck. And the last deck that I have, which is probably the most precious deck to me, is the Kapwa deck. So the Kapwa tarot deck. So this one is beautiful because this is actually not mass produced. So I will link below the creator, her Instagram, because she only creates them in batches of, I believe, about 100. So yeah, this one was actually the most pricey but most meaningful deck that I could ever have. Jonalyn, who is the creator, she really put a lot of thought and energy, and like I just love it because it is, if you don't know, Kapwa is a Tagalog word, and Kapwa means like humankind. I don't know, it's fellow humans, but Kapwa especially relates to like being around other fellow Filipinos. And so I just thought this was a really beautiful deck. I saw it from one of my friends. She posted it on her story, and I was like, where can I get this deck? Because it's like it uses symbolism from Filipino folklore as well as like pre-colonialism. And so I think I just felt so like connected to it, because it really connects you into your ancestors. Like if you're Filipino, like I just love this deck so much. And so I had to have it. And luckily when I saw this, I went to the creator's page, and I was like, Oh my gosh, like let me message her because I saw that basically the way that she creates them and sends them out is not through, just buying it on a website. She has it on like a Google form to apply for it, and then she'll like ask you for your like Venmo, and she'll like set that up, everything like that. However, I saw the Google form was still up, so I emailed her being like, "Hi, I just filled out the form, but I wanted to make sure, like, is this still like, are there still cards available?" Because it was for December, and at that point, it was like end of January, and so she was like, "I actually have like 10 more, so if you want, I can send you one, because I'm sending a bunch out this weekend." So I was like, "Yes!" And I just feel like it was like so in alignment, like it was meant to be, and so I love this deck because, yeah, it connects. I just feel like it just connects me into my ancestors. It connects me to my roots of being Filipina. So I really, really love this. It's like one of my most treasured decks right now. There is no physical guidebook with it, I will say. She will send you the PDF of it through email. So I usually have this saved in my Google Drive. So whenever I like pull cards, I can usually just use the guidebook there, as well as the bigger tarot book that I have as well, because they do connect with the Rider White style decks. However, like they use Filipino symbolism. So let me see if I can give you a quick example. Trying to find like a really good one, but the first one on top is the tik tik. So this is what it looks like. It is a symbol for the hanged man. So it's really cool because it's this like bat like creature, like mythological creature. But yeah, these are really, really beautiful cards. Like y'all gotta like, if you want me to show more about these decks, by the way, leave it in the comments so I know. But yeah, this is one of like my favorite decks ever. There's just so much in it. Like I just feel like she put so much time and energy into creating such a beautiful deck. I can't even like put into words. So yeah, that's really it for all of the decks today. The ones that I currently have, there are two that I listed below, which I no longer have in my possession. The first one being the Universe Has Your Deck. The Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabby Bernstein, which is my first deck that I ever got, which was actually about a year ago. I just saw it on my time hop popping up. It was one of the first decks I ever got, and it's not actually like an oracle card deck or a tarot deck. It has affirmations instead, and I think that's why I kind of like lost sight of it along the way, because it really doesn't give me much guidance anymore. So I actually sold it off. And then the other deck that I no longer have, which is the what is the name of it, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. So that was another one I used for a long time, like probably like months solidly. I was using it, and I would also put it up. It's an oracle card deck, and I would use it for picking it on my like Instagram stories. So like I would put two next to each other and be like, pick a card, and then I would show it and whatnot. But over time, it just wasn't resonating with me anymore, and I wanted to get other decks as well. So I didn't want to flood my bedroom with them, because it's real easy to just start collecting tarot and oracle card decks. Don't get me wrong, like I know people who have like collections, but this is my small collection. I wanted to keep it minimal because that, for me, I wouldn't say I'm a minimalist, but I have minimalist values in a sense that I'm not here to like have a ginormous collection. I'm not here to have a lot of physical material like possessions. Just because like eventually in time I want to be traveling and being more mobile, and I just don't need all the things. So I wanted to keep it short. I have 6 decks total plus the book. And then I also, for those of you who are like into like wanting to deepen your intuition and into your your tarot and like oracle card reading skills, I definitely highly suggest keeping a notebook of all the cards that you pull over time, because it's a really good way to keep track, but also like reflect a little bit more. So that is that for real this time. This is my current collection of my current oracle and tarot card readings, tarot card decks. What am I trying to say? I'm really tired, clearly. So that is that. If you have any questions about any of these specifically, definitely leave it down in the comments. And also, if you're interested in seeing how I actually pull cards for myself as well as for my clients, also let me know, because I'm happy to share that and just like giving you insights on how I personally do it, because it may be different from like another person. So that's really it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will be posting more. I don't know. I want to start sharing my personality more, sharing things that I'm more interested in outside of just the Taiwan vlogs. I think these are so much fun to edit. However, I just want to like show y'all like I'm more than just a purpose and business coach. I am more than that. And I just wanted to share that with you all. And so let me know if there's anything specific you want to see more from me. Leave it in the comments, or even shoot me an email or shoot me a DM on Instagram. However, I'm a little bit on the break from there, but I'll get back to you eventually. So that's really it. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and yeah, bye.